Juliya Chernetsky here, fanpass.tv, sitting down with Gary Spivak, an old friend of mine, and also the man who got Rock on the Range on the map. You started the whole thing, right?
Well, it takes a village. I have partners who are over there.
Of course.
But it was our kind of vision to create the biggest rock festival in North America. That was our goal. We were very naive and ignorance is bliss sometimes, and we sat down 8 years ago and said, who is serving the rock fan? And I'm not talking about like metal or punk or alternative rock, just rock and roll, you know, and have this big wide net of rock and roll. And we picked Columbus, Ohio, because that's where rock really lives. And if you look at a map around Columbus, you have Akron and Dayton and Cleveland and Cincinnati and West Virginia and Kentucky and Detroit, all these wonderful rock and roll markets that we felt were being really underserved.
And now, I've been coming here for many years. How many years exactly has this been going now?
This is the 8th annual. This one is the biggest one of them all. It's 3 full days, and we started 8 years ago as an innocent little one-day festival. With very low expectations, and it blew out. It sold out. We're like, wow, people do have an appetite for this.
And people come from all over the country, sometimes from even outside of the country to come to this festival, right? Like, I mean...
Yeah, we had, 49 states. I think it was South Dakota. I'm going to go to South Dakota and buy a ticket next year.
That's crazy.
49 states. We do this zip code report, kind of boring and technical or whatever, but 27% of tickets sold are in Columbus, which means 73% are outside of this city. They gotta come in. That's incredible.
Now, you guys have managed to have like quite a few different genres of rock and roll. I mean, this year there's everything from Exodus and Slayer to, you know, Guns N' Roses to bands like Pop Evil, Avenged Sevenfold. So they're very, very different bands. How do you get them all on the same festival, and what do you think the appeal is to the rock fan?
That's a great question. I could say, like, we want to cast this wide net, and the net is rock. And we can go really far right into like a Lamb of God and a Slayer, and we can go left with like a Cypress Hill and a Wolf Mother, but it's all got to be based in like good music, good rock music. It has to have a heart and a soul, and we don't want to go too far left, and we can't go too far right. We just want to kind of serve the rock fan. And I think we've evolved too, because maybe 8 years ago, I don't think we could have had a Slayer or a Cypress Hill.
Right.
But now it all kind of works.
Well, what's the appeal to bands like that? You know, like how do you like pitch to a band like Slayer, let's say, for example, who usually are very, you know, they want to be with their kind of music. So it's like, how do you explain that, like, listen, it's a 3-day festival and the spectrum is insane?
It's actually easier than you think. Like Slipknot, they go to their European festivals, and it's always, if Slayer and Slipknot share a hallway again, they've done it. But they love each other. But they come to like a rock.
I guess this is more like a Euro festival almost to me.
Yes, but they love, like, if a band like Wolf Mother or Chevelle is on the bill, because they don't tour with those bands. So they actually dig it. It's the younger bands who you got to kind of convince. But actually, Rock on the Range now, we started this and we had to basically get on our knees to prove ourselves. Like, please play our show. It's going to be awesome. Now, without being cocky or whatever, fans are coming to us and they're planning their release around our show, and they're planning their touring cycle. It's really humbling.
So is this everything that you wanted, or do you see a bigger vision? What's the master plan?
To keep on raising the bar every year. We actually love the Columbus Crew Stadium. True, we can go like Woodstock and go to this big open space and just have endless amounts of people. There's something kind of homey about this place. It's confined, but yet it's on the Ohio State Fairgrounds, so we're allowed to use all the outer lining areas instead of the bowl itself. It does have its limitations, but it also has bathrooms, and it has parking, and it has fencing, and it has concession stands, as opposed to building all that.
So you want to keep building the festival, but you want to keep it a Crew Stadium, so if anything, like, add more days.
Yeah, or I just think we want to keep on raising our bar, and, you know, we sold it out 2 years in a row, but that doesn't mean we're just going to, like, oh, let's just throw a bunch of bands because Rock on the Range is great. We don't think like that at all. We're nothing without the bands and keeping it fresh. So I don't have an answer to that question. Well, I think we just keep on raising the bar, and I'm going to, Sunday at midnight, I'm going to start thinking about bands for next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love this festival. I've been coming here many, many years, and it's a really great family vibe. You guys are so hands-on and so involved and so good to the bands, and all the bands that I've interviewed have had nothing but wonderful things to say and great experiences. So I hope that this goes on for many, many, many years to come. I love you guys. Thank you.
Without her, we wouldn't be 3 days sold out.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's people like Julia who kind of wave the rock flag. And we take a lot of pride in that family environment. We take a lot of pride in that because this is like
makes people want to come back.
This is a really beautiful, dysfunctional family of weirdos, and we're all together in it.
And we love it! Rock on the Range 2014, Juliya Chernetsky, Gary Spivak. You're watching fanpaz.tv. We'll see you in the pit.